Now I am going to refer to you the concept of TCS under GST, tax collected at source. Referring here, when this particular TCS applicable, to whom it is applicable? It is applicable only e-commerce operators. TCS not applicable if the ECS is electronic commerce operator, ECO is not involved, ECO is not there, either supplier or a recipient, ECO is not available in a given transaction, TCS not applicable. Simple to say, I am a provider of interior decorating services to CMA Bhavan Egmore. This is not applicable because neither the supplier nor the recipient belongs to e-commerce operator category. So this is applicable only when e-commerce present. That too, e-commerce operator is presented but coming under the category of section 9 subsection 5 of CGST, the CGST, or section 5 subsection 5 of the IGST, as the case may be. If e-commerce operator belongs to this particular category of a particular, what we can call this particular category, who are they? One, radio taxi, which includes omnibus now. Thereafter, housekeeping service provider, short-term accommodation services who are basically uninsured persons supplying their services to e-commerce operator. Further, cloud kitchen services, takeaway services offered, standalone restaurants meant for only takeaways. This category of persons who are operating, being e-commerce operator, fall under section 9.5. Radio taxi, short-term accommodation, housekeeping, thereafter the cloud kitchen services offered through e-commerce operator. In that case, e-commerce operator himself liable to pay GST as if they are the provider of that particular supply of services. That is called section 9 subsection 5 of the CGST or section 5 subsection 5 of the IGST. In that case, my dear friends, e-commerce operator liable to pay full amount of GST. Question of TCS does not arise. TCS not applicable. If the e-commerce operator not belongs to section 9 subsection 5, they are not radio taxi providing services, they are not falling under the short-term accommodation or housekeeping services, they are not e-commerce operator not providing cloud kitchen services. In that case, they are not belongs to that category. Other than that, like Amazon, Flipkart, this type of e-commerce operator comes into picture. For e-commerce operator, TCS is mandatory irrespective of the value of supply, which I am presenting here. On what value the TCS applicable? In the hands of a supplier, in the hands of an e-commerce operator. E-commerce operator who is not belongs to radio taxi category or cloud kitchen category or housekeeping as well as short-term accommodation. If there is a case, then the e-commerce operator liable for TCS, mandatory, for which separate registration they have to apply. For the want of registration, in fact, GST RAG07 is a common application for registration for the TDS as well as TCS wala. Now, TCS is going to be collected by e-commerce operator tax collected source. What percentage? Here 0.5% is of CGST, 0.5% of the GST, effectively interest supply 1%. 1% on what value should apply? Net value. What is the net value? Suppose, for example, my name is Peter England, seller of wearing apparels. I supplied the goods, sold the goods to customer for rupees 2 lakhs through e-commerce operator, let us say Amazon. Amazon is involved. My goods, Amazon sold to customer for 2 lakhs. Amazon collected the fees from customer 2 lakh, the value of the cloth supplied, and he is going to make the payment to me. e-commerce operator will going to make the payment to Peter England, supplier of the goods. 2 lakhs on which e-commerce operator will collect the percentage of commission. Let us say 10%. 10% of 2 lakh 20 rupees is collected, for example. And also deduct the TCS at what percentage? Effectively 1%. Let us say interest supply. 1% on what value? Not on 1,80,000. What value is collected? 2 lakh rupees. 2 lakh rupees is subject to TCS. 1% on 2 lakh rupees 2,000. Also collect the commission of 10% on 2 lakhs, 20,000. So 22 rupees is deduct and the balance amount will make the payment to supplier, to Peter England. So generally, there may be cases where the buyer who purchased the goods may be returned. Previous month purchases, next month may be returned. Return policy is there. In that case, e-commerce operator Amazon says, in the given month of May, we supplied for 2 lakhs. Previous month supply of Peter England cloth, in the month of May got returned. How much? 50,000. So 2 lakh sale worth current month less returns of the same company of Peter England, goods returned back made by the customers. 50,000. Balance amount how much? 1,50,000. That 1,50,000 is called net value. If the 1,50,000 is going to make the payment to supplier by Amazon, then the e-commerce operator being Amazon should rate the TDS 1% on 1,50,000 but not on 2 lakh rupees. Further, my dear friends, here some amended provisions also taken place recent past from 1st October 2023 onwards. Some mind-blowing amendments have been taken place, which I am going to simplify manner, simple examples I am going to present to you. I hope so this you understand. Net value concept. What is the value going to make the payment? What is the value? Are collected. Collected 2 lakh rupees. Returns are there 50,000 rupees. Thereafter 1,50,000. That is what the net value. 1,50,000 only subject to TCS. By knowing this, further, they should apply for registration. TCS was a mandate registration for a kind confirmation information purpose. The TDS as well as TCS for these two people, threshold limit of registration not applicable for them. Registration is mandatory under section 24 of the GST. TDS deductor, TCS deductors for them. If the TCS applicable means sufficient, they have to go for registration by making the application form GST REG 07 after the registration. Further, here, further my dear friends, referring here. What are the cases for which TCS not applicable? Like TDS not applicable cases, same we also here we have. 1. Exempted supply, wholly exempt supply, TCS not applicable. TCS also be not applicable in the case where net value is negative. What do you mean by net value which is negative? How to understand this concept? Net value negative means what? Just I told you, Peter England goods sold by Amazon for let us say 2 lakh rupees in the given month of May. Previous month sales returned in the month of May 50,000. 1,50,000 means 2 lakhs minus 50, 1,50,000 means net value. If that net value becomes negative, means nil or negative. For example, previous month returns not 50,000 rupees. Previous month sales returned in the current month is let us say 3 lakh rupees. In the given month sales 2 lakhs. 2 lakhs minus 3 lakhs, net value negative 1 lakh. TDS not applicable. TCS also be not applicable. Tax collected source not applicable if the supply which falls under the reverse charge mechanism, section 9, subsection 3 of the GST. It is falls under the reverse charge mechanism. So the recipient is liable to pay tax. If the e-commerce operator is liable to pay tax, full amount of tax, why should we delay the TCS further? So RCM cases, TCS not applicable. Supply between two e-commerce operators. I will explain. This point is got amended now. I will explain elaborately with the help of example to you. TCS is not applicable in the case where a transaction between the two e-commerce operators. For example, Peter England selling the goods through Amazon. Amazon tie up with the Flipkart. So Flipkart is one of the e-commerce operator. Amazon also one of the e-commerce operator. Transaction between the Amazon and the e-commerce operator of Flipkart, between these two, TCS is not applicable. Elaborately, I will explain to you further. TCS is also not applicable if the supply of the goods and services where it has been provided by the unlisted person through e-commerce operator. Amended provision. This one is amended provision. It recently got amended. What is this particular transaction? Unregistered persons. As a supplier of the goods, as a supplier of services, my turnover not exceeded threshold limit for registration. But I am willing to supply the goods and services through my e-commerce operator to get the business. Law now permitted from 1st October 2023. If you supplier of the taxable goods, intra-state supply permitted to supply through e-commerce operator, but there is a procedure is available which I will explain to you in detailed manner. For the time being, a supplier is an unregistered person, supply the goods or services through e-commerce operator. E-commerce operator should not collect TCS. TCS is not applicable to e-commerce operator. This is the meaning of it. So this is a point what I referred here is supply of goods or services by unregistered person through e-commerce operator. E-commerce operator should not deduct the TCS. This point one. Further referring to you, my friends. This point also will elaborate further with the help of examples. Now, if you refer here, a composition taxpayer, you are aware of that composition taxpayer with the condition based provision is there, whose turnover not exceed so and so limit, 150 lakhs, 75 lakhs, or 50 lakhs as the case may be. You are aware of that. Such a composition taxpayer should not permitted to supply the goods or services through e-commerce operator. If he did so, he will debar from the composition scheme. It is a concept. Now, the law got amended. Here you see, in the given case, supply of goods are is omitted. Supply of services through e-commerce operator only attract the composition scheme here. Composition scheme service provider here should not be supplied through e-commerce operator. A service provider whose aggregate turnover in the present financial year not exceeded 50 lakhs eligible for composition scheme other than the service provider, other than the restaurant service provider. In that case, he opted the composition scheme. Should not supply through e-commerce operator. But a supplier of the goods who opted the composition scheme is now permitted to sell his goods through e-commerce operator. Is an amendment. Here I am furthermore bringing some more clarity in the given case. From 1st October 2023 onwards, the points are meant to hear. Listen here, my dear friends. This benefit of composition scheme, supplier can have composition scheme as well as e-commerce operator supplies. Goods are permitted to sell through e-commerce operator, but with condition. What is the condition? It should not be interstate supply. It should be intrastate supply. A composition taxpayer who basically registered person only supplying the goods through e-commerce operator. Intrastate supply permissible. Interstate supply not allowed. E-commerce operator should be take care. Hey, e-commerce operator, you should not permit the composition taxpayer who sells the goods to your platform to sell other state. Not allowed. Further, here presenting furthermore, what about service provider? A composition taxpayer being a service provider not at all allowed to supply his services through e-commerce operator. If he did so, he will debar from the composition scheme with immediate effect. Now here two questions are there. Simple question. Question number one. Can composition taxpayer make the supply of services through e-commerce operator? No. It is permitted only through a particular supplier of the goods, not the supplier of services. A composition taxpayer being a supplier of service not allowed to supply his services through e-commerce operator. Further, question number 2. Can a composition taxpayer make interstate supply of goods through an e-commerce operator? A composition taxpayer who is supplying the goods allowed to supply the goods through e-commerce operator, but it should be intrastate supply. It cannot be interstate supply. It cannot be interstate supply. Further, e-commerce operators are allowed to supply the goods services of unregistered person? Yes. Now I am presenting here one by one. Unregistered persons who not got registered in GST law, if they want to sell their goods, supply their particular services through e-commerce operator, allowed from 1st October 2023, permission granted, where it stated that aggregate turnover up to the threshold limit, which is not exceeded. In the case of you take the Tamil Nadu state, taxable supply of goods 40 lakhs turnover limit for registration. For service provider 20 lakhs. For few states, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram, Nagaland, Tripura, only 10 lakhs turnover limit going for registration. If they are not crossed that limit, being a supplier of the goods, supplier is not able to registration. Such uninsured persons can supply the goods to e-commerce operator? Yes, with some conditions. What is the first condition? It shall not make interstate supply. That means through e-commerce operator, uninsured persons cannot make interstate supply. Second one, it should be intrastate supply only, allowed to supply through e-commerce operator. Further, he shall not make any supply through e-commerce operator more than one state. Sir, I am an uninsured person. I have place of business in Tamil Nadu, Chennai, one more place of business in Pondicherry. In both the locations, my aggregate not exceeded the threshold limit for registration. In that case, if you have two places of business in two different states or UTs, you disqualify to supply the goods through e-commerce operator. That means unregistered person, basically a very small person, allowed to supply the goods through e-commerce operator in a given state, not in multiple states. Further, my dear friends, he shall declare his PAN number, very important, declare his PAN number, address of his place of business in the common portal and submit, and he should be get enrollment number once he not registration, form GST RAG01 not allowed to submit, not required to submit. There is a facility in the common portal, GST network portal, to get authenticate his PAN number with the address, and the system will generate a particular unique enrollment number. Still is uninsured person only. That unique enrollment number after obtaining, then the uninsured person who supplying the goods or uninsured person who supplying the services allowed to supply through e-commerce operator. Now, e-commerce operator will refer, are you obtain the unique enrollment number from the GST portal? Obtain, sir. Fine, you are permitted. Hey, the supplier of the goods services, your supply will make only international supply. I cannot make other state. It cannot be interstate supply. Like that, the e-commerce operator also should fulfill certain conditions. E-commerce operator shall allow the supply of the goods services through it only after having enrollment number. Further, he shall not allow interstate supply. Supply of goods, why has mentioned supply of goods? Why not mention supply of services? Supply of services allowed to supply through e-commerce operator, but the supplier should not be composition scheme taxpayer. Composition taxpayer being a supplier should not supply through e-commerce operator. A unregistered person can supply the services, unregistered person can supply the goods through e-commerce operator whose turnover not exceeded threshold limit for registration. In that case, after obtaining unique enrollment number, that should be provided to e-commerce operator. E-commerce operator should verify it and ensure that, hey suppliers, your supply of goods services will make intrastate manner but not interstate. That has to ensure. Thereafter, the e-commerce operator, when making the payment to unregistered person, because I am an unregistered person, I am selling, let us say, hair comb or coconut water I am supplying, coconut oil I am supplying. I am a small guy through e-commerce operator. In that case, e-commerce operator collect the payment from customer. Let us say 2 lakh rupees collected, making the payment to supplier of the goods, coconut oil supplier of the goods. I am a supplier of the goods. My name is XN company. Supplier is XN company selling the coconut oil through e-commerce operator. E-commerce operator collect 2 lakh rupees and remitting to me. Are they required to collect the TCS? TCS not applicable in the hands of the e-commerce operator because he supplied the goods or service of an initial person. For an initial person supply, there is no GST, therefore no TCS. Got the clarity, my dear friends? So, in the given case, my dear friends, the supplier of the goods or services are basically an initial person. International supply permitted to e-commerce operator should not collect TCS. Not applicable TCS. Further, my dear friends, whatever the TCS collected by the e-commerce operator should be remitted monthly basis. GSTR 8, TDS GSTR 7. Due remains 10th of the following month. Every month they will remit the payment. Auto populating this also in the hands of the supplier of the goods services for whom the e-commerce operator collect the TCS. When remitted, the TCS amount will auto populated in the supplier of the goods services electronic cash ledger. Further, my dear sir, e-commerce operator, yes, required to submit GSTR 9B annual return by 31st of December. By 31st of December of the succeeding financial year, the e-commerce operator should submit the annual return GSTR 9B, which containing the supply made by him for registered persons, supply made by him for the composition taxpayers, supply made by him for the unregistered persons, and it is made available to the registered persons. Now, further referring here, my dear friends, for your information, very important, powerful amendment taken place here recently. In the given case, multiple e-commerce operators are involved. Generally, where the multiple e-commerce operators involved means, here I mentioned, in the case of ONDC network, Open Network for Digital Commerce is a digital platform. The government of India says, e-commerce operator, all of you registered in the platform. In a particular platform, many e-commerce operators got registered. Amazon, Flipkart, that and this, which is called as Open Network for Digital Commerce. ONDC. Open Network Digital Commerce. In the given case, what happened? There are, if you say here, a single transaction with the multiple e-commerce operators. One providing an interface to the buyer, the other providing an interface to the seller. First of all, understand, when I registered in the Amazon, I can able to buy the goods from Amazon product, what is available. But I registered in the Amazon, I want a product to buy which is available in the Flipkart. Then I have to come out from Amazon, then I have to log in the Flipkart, again I have to register in the Flipkart network, then I have to place the order. It is not so in the case of ONDC network, where multiple e-commerce operators are place their product and services in one platform. If I am a registered person in Amazon portal, I can buy the goods which is available in the Flipkart portal. Not required to go for registration in Flipkart again. So, such a network it is. Therefore, one providing an interface to the buyer side e-commerce operator we call it, and the other providing an interface to the seller side e-commerce operator. What do you mean this? Simple to say, one example I am bringing here. You will understand this example. One first scenario, we take first scenario. When the seller side e-commerce operator himself is not a supplier in the said supply. First scenario is when the supplier e-commerce operator himself is not the supplier in the said supply. One example. My name is, let us say, Raj and Company. My name is Raj and Company. What I am selling? I am selling cloth, wearing apparel, shirts I am selling, ready-made garments I am selling. Raj and Company. Raj and Company now got registered in Amazon as a seller. So Amazon selling Raj and Company cloth. Let us say you being a buyer registered in the Flipkart. By referring, you came to know that the Raj and Company goods are available to sell through e-commerce operator. Then you being a customer approaching your e-commerce operator to buy the goods from Amazon Raj and Company. In that case, seller e-commerce operator who is himself is not the seller. Obviously, Amazon is e-commerce operator selling the Raj and Company product. Seller is Raj and Company whose goods selling by e-commerce operator. So, supplier side e-commerce operator is a Amazon. Himself is not the supplier, is the set supplier. Correct then? Amazon not selling the Amazon product. Amazon selling in their electronic platform the Raj and Company goods. Therefore, when the supplier side e-commerce operator is not the supplier in the set supply. So, in that case, how it will work out? Simple to say. First scenario I mentioned here by saying that I mentioned here. Scenario: buyer purchases goods from the seller 70,000, where in the Flipkart registered person in the Flipkart who purchased through his e-commerce operator by paying rupees 70,000. The Flipkart paid the payment of rupees 70,000. Who is a buyer side e-commerce operator? Flipkart collected from his customer, namely registered person, by providing the cloth of the Raj and Company through Amazon. Flipkart is providing to his buyer. Buyer paid 70,000 through Flipkart. Flipkart collected 70,000 rupees. Buyer side e-commerce operator Flipkart. Then that rupees 70,000, before making the payment to Amazon e-commerce operator, this particular Flipkart deducting his commission. Let us say commission of rupees 5% on 70,000, which is 3,500 rupees. Who deducted? The Flipkart deducted 3,500. Balance amount of the 66,500 is remitted to Amazon, who is a seller side e-commerce operator. Now, seller side e-commerce operator collected how much? 66,500. That he is going to be remitted to his seller, namely Raj and Company. Here, Amazon knows that who is his customer. Amazon is liable for TCS. When the seller side e-commerce operator himself is not a seller, then the e-commerce operator being a seller side e-commerce operator liable for TCS. There is no TCS is applicable to Flipkart. He is a buyer side e-commerce operator. Now Amazon e-commerce operator from Flipkart rupees 66,500. From that they are deducting commission of Amazon. It is Amazon commission here. They work it out around, let us say here, how much? 3% on 6,500, which is comes out rupees 1,995. That deducting, in addition to that, what is the value of supply? 70,000. On the value of supply, 1% of TCS, 700. Also deducting. So 6,500 minus commission 1,995 minus 700 TCS. Balance amount of 63,805 is remitted to supplier by Amazon. So who liable for TCS? The seller side e-commerce operator, who himself is not a seller. In that case, the rupees 700 should remit by the Amazon seller side e-commerce operator to department by filing the GST 8 return by 10th of the following month. So 6,500 minus 700 TCS minus the 1,995, his commission, the net amount is how much comes here? 63,805. 63,805 amount should be make the payment to supplier. I mean to say Raj and Company by e-commerce operator. So in the given scenario, two e-commerce operator involved. Therefore, we call it as a multiple e-commerce operator. Which e-commerce operator liable for TCS? Means the seller side e-commerce operator who himself is not the seller. Then he is a supplier. He is the person liable to collect the TCS. Further, second scenario that is important to note. When the supplier side e-commerce operator is himself is the supplier of the said supply. Supply side e-commerce operator who is himself is a supplier of the said supply. Now Amazon saying, I am not selling Rajan company goods. I have my own club, Amazon brand. Amazon is an e-commerce operator who sells their own goods, where a buyer got registered in the Flipkart, buyer said Flipkart, e-commerce operator, buying the goods from Amazon, e-commerce operator. There are two e-commerce operators involved. In that case, who is liable for TCS? In the case where the supply side e-commerce operator who himself is the supplier of the said supply. In that case, the buyer side e-commerce operator liable for TCS. Flipkart collected from a customer, let us say rupees 80,000. Before remitting to Amazon, the buyer side e-commerce operator Flipkart deducting their commission. Let us say their commission 6% deducted, 4,800 on rupees 80,000, 6%, 4,800. Not only that, 1% TCS on rupees 80,000, 800. So 80,000 minus commission 4,800 minus TCS 1% is 800. The net value here 74,400, which is paid to Amazon by e-commerce operator, namely Flipkart. In the given case, buyer e-commerce operator is liable for TCS. Is a latest amended provision where clarification given by CBS in the given case from 1st October 2023 onwards. So, two scenarios. Multiple e-commerce operator involved. First scenario, seller side e-commerce operator who himself is not the seller. Means e-commerce operator Amazon selling the goods of the sellers. In the given case, second scenario, seller side e-commerce operator who himself is a seller for the said supply. In that case, buyer side e-commerce operator liable for TCS to make the payment. Having this explanation, I think my beloved friends, all of them got clarity in this regard.